Welcome back to the iOS tutorial. Today I'm going to exploring this snapshot testing, and let's see how we can implement this in our previous application, which is the simple login app with the composable architecture. So before we dive into the code, I'll explain a little bit about snapshot testing. So what is this snapshot testing? Basically, it's one of the testing strategies in software development that it is actually not the same as the unit test, but rather it is trying to capture a particular screen and save it somewhere on the disk, and then we are running the snapshot test again, and then we are gonna running the snapshot test again so that we can get a new image for that particular screen, then compare if both image is actually the same or not. If the image is the same or exactly the same, then it means that we are not breaking the UI. But if it is the image is not the same, it means that we are breaking the UI somehow. So this is, I would say, my personal definition of snapshot testing. And how we do that, we basically can create our own mechanism to record and assert the snapshot. But in this video, I'm going to use a third-party framework, which is the swift-snapshot-testing by Pointfree. Let's explore this framework. Okay, here we are. We are basically going to use this snapshot testing library here, and there is a usage here. There is a way how to do this. For example, we need to import snapshot testing, we need to instantiate our view, and we need to assert that somehow, or we need to record that. So I'm gonna explain that later, but for now, let's go back in our Xcode project here. Here I have created a new branch, feature/snapshot testing for this one, and let's see if we are still in the clean state by running command U, and let's see if we actually have a clean test. Yeah, we do. So the first thing that I'm going to do is creating the test itself, right? Let's go and let's go with the unit test. For example, login view snapshot test here. Let's click next and let's create a file, and make sure that we are in a failing test first, because we are following test-driven development in this example. Well, even though we've already have the UI, yeah, we can still follow this one, I think. Good, we have the failing task here. So let me disable the stage manager because it's kind of annoying right now. Okay, so first I want to assert or snapshot here that my view should in initial state here. So what I need to do is I need to have the view, for example, and I will have the login view, right? And I don't have that access of login view, and then I need to assert that somehow, but I still need the access for this. So let's import the TDD TCA module, stable import here, and now I have the access for that store, and basically I need the store, and I believe you can just copy from the reducer task here, and let's copy the default store initialization here, and let's rename that into a store. Let's inject the store here, and we are not going to use the test store because our login view needs a store, not a test store. So let's use a store, and the compiler is complaining we need to import the composable architecture here, and there you are, we have the view right now. And let's go back to the GitHub page, and let's see how we could assert, right? So we could assert by yeah, we could basically assert this, and let's try to assert like this one. Great. Now let's run the test, and we could see that compiler is telling us that we don't have this assert snapshot, right? Why? Because we need to get it from the snapshot testing framework. And yep, I believe I need to install this framework first. So let's go back and on the Google Chrome and go to the installation section, and you will see that I need to enter this package repository. I'm going to use the SPM for this, and I believe I need to ensure that my snapshot testing is added to the test target instead. So let's go to Xcode, add packages here, and let's copy the URL for that. And we can install the snapshot testing here. I believe we could add to test target as the documentation here. It wants us to add to the test target. So let's add to the test target and add package. And okay, I believe that should do it. Let's try to run the test again. Hopefully everything is going to be fine here. Yep, I think there's no issue here unless this one. So let's hit and run again. Build succeeded. Great. So basically our task is failing, which is actually very good. So what is its message basically? As I said earlier, snapshot testing is actually first thing is try to record that particular screen, right? And after that, we need to assert the new snapshot with the old snapshot, right? So in this example, it's basically saying that, hey, you don't have the old image or snapshot. So how do we do that? Based on their documentation here, we could basically tell the library to record by including this record argument in the assert snapshot, or just using this one. I'm gonna use this one, I think. So let's copy and let's tell the snapshot testing that we are actually recording. So let's hit Command U again, and let's see. Great, we still have a failing test, which is pretty good. It says that it is actually has been recording, and we need to turn off and rerun that particular task. So that's against the newly recorded snapshot. You notice that we have a new URL here, and let's click, and boom, we have empty view. Interesting. So why do we have like empty view? Let's see. Maybe we need to wrap that into a view controller. Let's try. So let's try login view controller. Is actually UI hosting controller, and I believe we need to import Swift UI here. Hosting controller, oops, with a root view of that login view here, and let's rename that into a login view here and there. And I need to match this login view controller. So let's try to record that again, and let's see. Hopefully we are getting a correct view. Let's go to this link, and yep, we basically got the view right. Interesting. Okay, so we could go here, I believe, choose this selection with the view config of, for example, iPhone. Let's try iPhone, I don't know, 13, I guess. Okay, this one, yeah, iPhone 13. And let's record that again. It is recorded, I believe, and let's see on the link here. Yes, it is recording. That's great. So how to make this test pass? Basically, we are removing this recording. So basically we are telling that, hey, we are not recording anymore. We are trying to assert the old image with the new image from the new running test. So let's run, and hopefully we can see that the task is going to be passing, which is great. It means that, oh, the old image and the new image is actually the same. So let's try to prove that our old image and the new image is not the same. How do we try to do that? Basically, we could like modify our login view, I guess, because our old login view is this design, right? And for example, we add a new as here, and let's command U again, and we basically could see that our snapshot is complaining or telling us, hey, the image is not the same for this specific state. And this is the old image, I believe, there, and that one, the other one is the new image. Let's see right here. Okay, so we have like a new different type of images. This one is the old one and this one is the new one, so that's why the Xcode is complaining. So yep, we could like remove that changes here, and let's rerun the app again, or the test I mean, and we can see that it's still green, which is pretty great. So I'm gonna I have like a couple of different images here, so let's delete that because it was my previous changes. Let's try to record that again. It's recording, let's go to true, and let's force us to have a new or latest stored image. It's recording and it is saving the image here, and let's command U again. We can see that we don't have any problem with the initial state, so we could commit here, I believe. What is the commit? Snapshot on initial state here, and let me just move this quick here. Great. Oops, let me close this, close that as well. Okay, I want to move this a little bit smaller. Great. So in test-driven development, the next thing that we can do is adding a new test, I believe. So what is a new test cases? I want to snapshot or guarding our UI when we have, for example, render email text field, for example, email text field on non-empty email, or should show email text field here. Okay, so what is this setup? The setup is pretty much the same. We could try to copy here with email tags here. What is the string? Any email, mail.com, for example, and let's assert that again here, and let's tell that our intention is try to record this new test here. Okay, so let's try to run the test again, and let's see, hopefully we are having a failing test, which is great. We have a failing test and we got a new image here with that any email at mail.com. So how to make this task pass? We could remove this is recording, and let's hit Command U, and right, we have good task passing here. So let's try to count here, and I believe when we are doing the snapshot here, should shows email text on non-empty email here. So let's commit and let's improve this more. What is this? Should show password text on non-empty password here. So what I want to do is, with starting the screen with the password text, let's go with any password here, and I want to record that. Is recording, so go to true here. Okay, we have a failing test, pretty good. Let's check the image here, and yep, we have an any password text on the password text field, which is great. It's the same as our extension, and let's remove the is recording flag, and let's rerun the test. Great, we have a green test again. Let's commit. Let's go with the same commit message. Snapshot should show password text on non-empty password. Great. In the test-driven development, we could refactor this one. I think because we are doing this one repetitively, so let's extract this one here and let's use the make_sut method here, right? So what is our helper? Our helpers is the private func make_sut, and we are returning the UI view controller here. We are starting with a specific state, right? So we need to pass this initial state here. This is the initial state of login screen feature dot state, I believe, and I need to provide this initial state, which is this one, right? And the login view controller is changed to the SUT, and this is in the SUT itself, and we can return that SUT here. So let's try to run again because we are refactoring things, and hopefully we are still having a green test, pretty good. And I believe you could refactor this one as well. So let's try to copy the setup here, and let's change that into any email.com around here, and the argument, this is the email text, and let's remove this unused things, change that SUT here, and let's command U again, still passing. And how about this? I believe you could replace this one without any arguments here, and we could inject that SUT on our assertion. Let's command U. Okay, we are still in the green state here, and we could actually simplify this one because we don't care about the initial state, right? So we could move this default value in here, login screen feature dot state here. Okay, looks clean, that's pretty good. And let's commit refactor SUT creation into factory method here. Let's commit, and I believe we still have like one more test cases. For example, we need to test that what if when the error message is shown, what does it looks like? Should show error message here, right? So our SUT will become the same, but I need to display an error message with any error message, for example message here, and I need to assert that as well here, and we need to tell the framework that we are recording here. And let's run the test, and let's see what does our UI look like when we are recording. I mean, when we have the error here like this, any error message, which is pretty good. And I don't know why it is not the same here. Let's try to check. I think for some reason it changed, so I think that's fine if we just record that here as well, and trying to re-render the snapshot here, and we could delete this one and that one as well. Let's run the test again, and let's see. Hopefully we have like green state. Great. And let's commit here. So what can we do in the commit message when we are doing snapshot? Should show error message there. Let's commit, and yeah, we are pretty much good. We have a solid foundation. So where does this snapshot test stored? So basically we are stored in that target, right? So we could like show in Finder on that test target. Let's move around here, and there is a snapshot folder with the given like that's class name, and this is the snapshot for each one. So we could see in here. But one way to deal with this snapshot, why we need to use this snapshot, because this snapshot will help us to show the screen based on the injected state here, or injected, for example, behavior state or the things that we want, without even running, go deep dive into the app. So that's pretty good, that's pretty fast. And we could also render that in the dark mode as well without even touching the app. So how do we do that? So in this assert snapshot function, there are a lot of arguments here. I believe one of the arguments here is the this one, the as one. In the snapshotting here, we are using as image, right? And this image here, there's some argument as well, and one of the arguments that is interesting in the moment is the traits, because this UI trait collection is related to the trait of the UI. So one of the trait is the light mode and dark mode. So we could inject this light mode and dark mode to our app. So let's try to add the traits here. Traits, I want to specify that my traits, it's actually UI trait collection with the user interface style. What is the style? The light mode here, right? And what I want to do is we can copy, and we could render that in the dark mode as well. And let's change that into, for example, maybe I want to see on the dark mode on the iPad 10, for example. So since we are adding in new things, then we could record here as well. And let's see. Okay, we are recording things, and let's try to remove that recording. And before that, let's see whether we got a new image. Here, this is the light mode, and there you are. We have the dark mode of the iPad. That's great. And let's run the test again, for example. Okay, we have a green state here. Let's commit, add dark mode snapshot on initial state here. I want to copy paste and use that everywhere, right? But before that, I want to simplify the syntax. So we could make this more simpler, traits with the light mode, and that trait will be dark mode here. And we could add a private extension here of the UI trait collection, and let's make a static property of light mode with light trait collection and the dark mode as well. Dark mode, and this one should be dark mode. And I believe we could run this without any worries. Okay, let's add the commit here, refactor, or for example add tiny DSL method there. Let's commit, and I want to use this everywhere, so we could copy paste to the every single items there. But of course we need to record that because we are adding this dark mode and we specify this trait anyway. So we could tell everyone that we are recording here, triggering is true, and copy paste to all of the tasks. Or we could just for example, control and shift and click here and here and here and here, and tell that we are actually recording true here. Oops, I typed a typo, but recording, okay. Or we could just use the setup method from the test case setup code, and this setup method, let's call the super, will be executed on every single test function before that task is executed. So is recording is equal to true, will be executed before every single one of this. In this scenario, we don't need to add to multiple location. So let's just try to record that here, and we will have like a failing test everywhere, right? But this is a correct thing. Let's see. Great, we have like a new image here with message, error message, with email and password there. Great. And let's remove the record flag and let's rerun the test again. Let's see, we should have like the green state there. Okay, so let's add the commit, assert dark mode on other tasks as well. Here, let's commit here. So yeah, I think that's how we could like use snapshot testing and why this snapshot testing is important. Well, for me, I think this kind of snapshot testing is actually important because first, it is fast. We don't need to rely on the, for example, simulator, or we don't need to like put up our iPhone and plug the cable and go to login and stuff, and rendering things manually. And we could like verify here in the test suite if we have like a very good test. And another benefit is, for example, we could like since we have green test picking up, then maybe in the future, for example, you or other guy or other girl in the team might doing something with the code, for example with the UI, and she or he accidentally changed, for example, the color from red into green, right? And if we have like good tests, then we basically could tell immediately, hey, with this snapshot, hey, the color is basically changing. Maybe you're done something wrong. And the test is telling us, oh, this is the old image here with the color of red, and this is the new image here with the color of green. So it's like two different things. Which one are you in? So this like guarding behavior with snapshot test is pretty much powerful. So we could basically, it's very beneficial if we try to utilize this in our app. So yeah, I'm not gonna change this. So another example or another scenario is, for example, we are having like very custom UI, or for example our UI, we already have the product, and we are using, for example, certain iOS version, and there will be like another iOS version in the future, maybe like iOS 17, for example. We have like iOS 16 right now, and since Apple gave the beta access for now, for example, or later, we could try to run our snapshot test both in iOS, for example, 16 and 17, and see whether our UI is rendered properly in, for example, iOS 17, right? Maybe our UI, or maybe UIKit or Swift UI has a different behavior in the new iOS version. We don't know, but if we have like this kind of mechanism to guard our UI with the snapshot test, for example, then I think that's one of the benefit of the snapshot test. So we could use the, for example, Xcode beta and use that new iOS simulator version, and we could run the test and see if we might break something on that new beta version, so that we could tackle that, for example, UI bug immediately before the iOS 17 release or final release. So that's a really powerful way of guarding our UI. But still, of course, we need to have like better UI architecture. For example, in this case, we are having a login view, and we can inject our UI state in here. So basically, we need to do a proper GI, dependency injection, to be able to run this UI test smoothly. So I really suggest that our view controller or our Swift UI view, or whatever the view that you are using, is providing a dependency injection access to the, for example, to the view model, or to the presenter, or the controller, or logic controller, or this kind of store, so that we could inject the different state, for example, for this specific case, or we could like inject that kind of test in the view control test as well. Yeah, so there you are, guys, about snapshot testing. I hope this video is helping. Yeah, that's the things that I want to share today. So hit like and subscribe if you find this video helpful, and let's see you in the next video. Bye.